Supersport car Marte ahead of Alex Millward from Flex Simulations. Lee King McGee and Steve Hughes line up on what is there, your 27th row of the grid. We've had 28th row of the grid for AKM Racing UK and Red Mist Racing, and Joel Newton starts P57 for the wrong staff. With all the field being set, ladies and gentlemen, we are now only moments away. It's 57 drivers who line up, but who's going to win the come the end of it all? Well, the pace car peels away immediately as Armstrong leads them into the final corner. He gets to choose when we go green. It's 60 minutes of racing here at the Hockenheim ring, and now he's just waiting to pull the trigger on what's going to be a fiery race in Germany. But who will come on top? It's going to be lights out and away we go when Armstrong's ready to do so. And keep your eyes on the clock there. The lights are going on, and it's away we go for Armstrong as he builds up the speed and roars his way into turn number 1 as he comes down into the braking zone. It's a good start for Armstrong, but further back there's already chaos further afield. There's been a major incident right towards the midfielder, the pack, and we're going to take a look back at that very shortly. But as the lead field make the way down towards turn number 2 here, all coming fast and hard onto the brakes immediately. Harold Tartas is looking around the outside of Shilcock, albeit I believe in fact that's Helder Gonzalez being attacked by John Tartas, so John Tartas having to defend him versus Gonzalez as we get our bearing straight as they make the way through Parabolica curve, which definitely been a bit less dramatic at the front of the field compared to how it has been towards the rear of the field. But I can tell you right now, we've got quite a sizable split in the field as Tom Weston's lost a couple of places at the start of this race, and as they made the way down towards Fitzgerald for the first time in this race, you're going to expect quite a few lunges on the brakes. This whole thing, cold brakes and cold tyres. It's not going to be easy as they all come down the front bumper on Casper Tunsted's car, and as they come through it's a turn between Weston and Tunstead. Everyone right now is the part of the seas around the stricken drivers. There's some contact went for going to the rear of Weston's car, and as they all rid themselves back up to speed, drama at the hairpin, and as they come through, all the field now catching up from behind. We've still got more drivers coming on through, including Chris Knight. We're right now batting there with Rob Armstrong. Armstrong is in front of him, and the privateer in the 35 looking to go on the offensive versus the UK Sim Racing Mercedes as they make the way in towards Mercedes Arena. But as they do, meanwhile Alex Millward here trying to pick up another place. The effect simulation tries to start from the back of the field. He knows he's got all the hard work cut out for him, but he's not finding places immediately. He's going to be found as part of 13, but there's more to go. As meanwhile, we can see there a bit of side by side just in front. That's Conor Craven being passed by Fresina as they made it into Mobil 1 at turn number 11. As they come in towards the braking zone at 12, and Craven's looking back up the inside here, but I think doing it more to defend versus Pimley and Millward. As meanwhile, Millward says, well, don't want to do as he goes up the inside of the Similar Esports driver and takes another place. As they make the way towards the end of lap number 1. And meanwhile, we look from there as Millward tries to take a little peek there versus Craven. It's going wide. The old duty car's driver. Oh, but what was that? I do believe Marvin Cruz catches the car back, and as they make the way onto the start finish straight. Well, meanwhile, we look up towards the front of the field, and here's a change of position between Helder Gonzalez and Jack Taylor. With Jack Taylor trying to look for the move, he can't quite find it. Gonzalez, the Portuguese driver, still hold on for Track 6 Racing. He's holding on to P6. That's meaning that John Tartas and Shilcock are running away. Already your top 5 are breaking away for the rest of the field. So it's the top 5 of Armstrong ahead of Sparrow, followed by Neat, Shilcock and John Tartas. Then P6 is Gonzalez ahead of Taylor, followed by your pro leader of Josh Pratt, P8. Then it's Eric Rose at P9 ahead of Brian Davis, P10. Chris Round is your prime leader, P11. He's still got Constable and Oldfield right behind him in the freeway fight for the lead of the prime class, and then a long way back, but he's gained 10 places since the start of this race. Neil Smith is your AM leader right now. I think he avoided all the drama on what was the race start procedure, and we still need to take a look back on what exactly happened there. And I believe we have got a replay coming up very shortly, albeit we haven't quite got it at the moment, but I can definitely tell you it was a dramatic start, no questions asked, and for all our drivers, one I think where the midfield in particular still trying to recover from it. But as we do look to James Connolly making his way up through turns 7, 8 and 9, coming into 10 now, he's looking to go on the offensive versus similar Andre Livingston, but he can't quite find it at this time, and having to still wait his turn, and that gives us a prime opportunity to take a look back at that race start from the midfield's perspective. As our field made the way through, we're looking towards the blimp camera view, focused on James Connolly here as they made the way on through the final corner. And as they did, a massive concertina effect started to play out. Where exactly was just spinning the field? That's the question for our drivers. And, well, whatever happened here to James Connolly, in fact, they all came into the scene in the instance, so it already happened. I think Rachel Conkley had been involved quite closely in the instance. We take another look back here towards, of course, Rachel Conkley, who found herself right in the midst of it, Prismatic Motorsports. We're looking at one of our lower cameras here, and as all drivers got underway, I think some drivers get a faster start than others. And as we went green flag racing, oh goodness me, a car's coming across. Conkley tries to take evasive action, and the Prismatic Motorsports driver just ends up in the wrong place at the right time. But it looks like a couple of cars in front ends up being right in the thick of that instant. We take a further look back at the race start instant. This is on board with Chris Hounsworth, Track 6 Racing, starting behind Jack Barker, and I think Hounsworth is going to come into the scene, but there was, it seems as though a bit of a free three-way incident between a couple of drivers up and doing all black caution in front of this serve. You see what we kick it off there, and everyone right now sensed it. Where do I go? Where do I go? And well, in the end, Walsh tries to get on through them, but now Albanese coming back across the road, but House just dodging that in the end, and that was your race start, ladies and gentlemen. We can't wait to see what started the incident, but we can give you some perspectives from our drivers there. Definitely not the way they wanted it to go, and as our drivers push on right now, we return to your live racing pictures. We noticed that the circuit map has gone and tried to be a bit shy, so we really pack there in the top right, we reload our overlay. Don't worry, that's not your TV screen having problems, it's on our end, and as we return to that race action, Neil Smith, your AM leader, still P22, and we've got looking for a move versus him. What is Casper Rotner as they make the way in towards turn number 12. In terms of battles still out there in the circuit, we've got plenty of battles going on as we're only 5 minutes into this 60-minute race, but everyone now started to settle down, and that's the thing with the Hockenheim being after the early drama of the race. It now really does become what is a focus on the mindset of just keeping your head down, sticking to your strategy and managing the race. Casper Tunstead missing that front bumper after losing it going into turn number 6. That's going to go hairpin as they make their way out to the braking zone at Ford Nord curve. Sharples right now looking for the move here versus the Peak Sim Racing driver. Vince Weston is looking for the move on Sharples, and here comes Weston on the left of your picture, and when maybe his debut, Weston is not afraid of exchanging moves with some of the best in the field in terms of his class. They make the way on and through turn number 2 into 3-4, and that is a lovely move from Tom Weston to move up to P9 in the pro class, with P25 overall as he pushed on down. I do suspect all these drivers may have elements of damage on the car. That's not as pronounced as Tunstead's car, but right now Tom Weston definitely showing his credentials. They head down to the braking zone. Meanwhile, we see there looking up the inside of Neil Smith. That is Casper Rotner making the move for P22. He goes all in on the brakes. Smith tries to now get the cut back out the corner, but Walsh able to deploy the power just a little bit more comfortably, and now enables Casper Rotner to make a key move, which moves him up to P22 and enables him to be released after Kelly Bramadine, with P6 of the pro class just up the road ahead of him. But from there, we do look back to what is your leaders of the pro class. In fact, we ride on board and look back to the rear of Chris Brown's car for Leroy Jenkins. And well, the reason we're focused on this because this is the battle of the two Chris's, the right to beat the superior Chris in the form of Brown versus Constable, and that's the Destino Motorsports Audi. Constable right now absolutely stiffing the rear toe of the Brown's car and looking to try and find every little egress it can. And meanwhile, Simon Oldfield only what is a further half a second behind, wants to try and get involved in this as well. However, the team manager driver also worried about the fact he does have Mark Collicott coming on through, and Collicott very quick on the pace at the moment as the pro driver, and he'll want to clear these frames as quickly as he possibly can. As they make the way on through, there's still plenty of races out there. We'll get some feed coming in from you guys and girls down in where's the pit landing. Jason High, who has pointed out to us in the Twitch chat, there's been a spin for Alex Millward that's completely upset his run through the field. Remember, he's having to essentially last the first challenge if he wants to win this race in the elite class, given the qualifying ban. But meanwhile, further on down, Alex Hill here side by side with Gavin Gardner, and with the pro driver trying to pick up the elite driver right now for next gen racing, as the TE6 will kick the Audi on the right of your pitch and starts to build up some speed. That Ferrari takes a lot of time to build up to top speed. When it does though, it's very hard to catch. The problem is that Ferrari just does not have the legs, and that seems similar engine versus the V10 of the Audi. Albeit they make the way to the braking zone here for the hairpin. Hill's going to be on the inside, Gardner around the outside. Gardner's going to commit to this. It's going to cost them both a lot of time versus the primes in front of Lever and Selby. As they make the way in towards the Mercedes arena, side by side they go, and Hill's still here right now with Cox in the rear of the picture, plus also what is I think Philippe Ramadans. This is the only group in the quartet up, and Garner on the inside here. This is really a battle. They're not really gaining anything in terms of fighting one another. If anything, Hill's losing massively as a result of this in terms of his rivals getting closer and closer. There's still spectators. We'd love to see it as they make the way on down towards turn number 11. We can see they're going to the braking zone. No change of freedom, but in the end it will be the opportunity. All bit of a rub there between the two drivers, but they head onto the brakes here for turn number 12. It's going to be Hill now, who's being passed by Peter Cox, as Cox uses the opportunity set up for him by Gardner and Hill fighting, and Peter Cox gaining the key move, but Hill comes back. There's contact between the two into Sud Curve as they make the way through, and well there I think Alex Hill just being a little bit impatient, I think frustrated, losing out versus Peter in the run on through the corners, and as a result the two of them have exchanged paintwork and also gone for a spin, and that has released what was Weston, Sharples and Edos on through, and well as they make the way back up to speed, here they go once again, but Alex Hill tucking in behind this time and not trying to make it too wide into Nord Curve as they decide to settle their differences for a brief moment. Meanwhile, we look to Rob Zelby, who right now the UK Sim Racing Stuart driver has teammate and Lever attached to the rear of him as they make the way on and down the parabolic curve, and as they do, they have three Saunders just in front. They're trying to stay with the elite driver for now. In terms of battles at the faster unfolding. Let's talk a little bit more about those. We do have Nicholas Rice and the two road drives a long way down the field with retrospective incidents or penalties. And as they made their way to the break zone, we ride aboard with Rice, and you can see King McGee looking up the inside of West Simon Hartley as they come through turn number 2 into free before they go. And Rice had a back out there. Meanwhile, it's Hartley who stays clear of King McGee, and now it's going to be Rice who tucks into the toe here, tries to use the BMW to pull himself along, because he hasn't got the speed compared to the BMW in terms of getting up through the gearbox, and that is the delta of the two cars. The fact that King McGee in an equal car can make his way through, but Rice at the end, using the experience, knowing how well he can brake in the Ferrari, all the way on the inside there, a key move, and enables him to stay with the Pro Championship leaders. They make the way up towards turn number 7. As they do, smooth moves to those drivers. Meanwhile, we look back into the AM class and some more fighting here. This is Pettek GT2's and James Bostock into 66. As he makes his way through turn number 11. He's got the company of James Conley behind him. They're fighting for P4 in the AM class, and well, Bostock last time at Daytona, one moment racing for a podium finish. He's still got the podium positions in his sights with Jack Barker and Matt Edmondson just in front right now. They're P2, P3 respectively. But this battle is absolutely pushing on here. And meanwhile, Neil Smith has just run away with the AM lead. He's further up the road, and Will Smith not looking back. He's 7 seconds clear, and well, who can blame him? If he can run away with this, it will be the first time we see Neil Smith take a win in the GT3 league in his career. Given the fact back in what was season 11, if my memory serves me correct, he came very close multiple times, but it never quite paid off. But the head of this quartet of AM drivers is the Ford GT, the privateer of Jack Barker in the new delivery machine. Indeed, running a different paint spec compared to Daytona. The livery wasn't quite ready for the United States, but it's ready here in Germany, and right now putting his faith in the car. There's got some damage on it, I think, in the open lap instant. Right now, Barker keeping his head down and trying to use the Ford GT speed, but also the fact he is quite the boat in terms of how it handles in order to keep what is Edmondson behind, albeit practically parking on apex there at turn number 6. Definitely struggling with low speed cars. You can expect that from the Ford GT, given the way it's set up for the speed first and foremost, as he makes his way into turn 7 and 8. But I caught up with him in the build-up to today after his absolutely brilliant, well, highly enthusiastic interview, it must be said, last time at Daytona. He was saying to me about the fact he's really had to redial in the setup of the car because nothing was working in this Ford GT at the start of this week when he went with his baseline setup, and therefore running a completely different setup today. He's making it work so far, but as they made the way on towards what would be a turn in number 12. Meanwhile, we do cut back up to the elite class here, and well, Helder Gonzalez and what is Jack Taylor still nose to tail in their fight for P6. The top 5 have broken away to a second now in terms of Shilcroft being further up the road with Joe Tartas in company as well. But it does look as though, in fact, that gap, let's just give you an update on that. The correct update is 3.5 seconds from Gonzalez to Joe Tartas, and then a further second to Shilcroft. So the top 4 have started to break away from Joe Tartas, but in turn, Neat, Spiro and Armstrong have dropped Shilcroft to a degree. So it does look as though we're starting to see the separation of the top 7 elite drivers. Eric Rosa, meanwhile, in the number 1 BMW M4, the elite driver, of course, defending champion in season 11's elite class. Right now, the Norwegian driver here looking for a little bit more momentum. He's got to find his way past Joshua Brad, but then again, the TE Supersport driver absolutely demonstrates the right way. He's leading in the pro class here, put it on pole, and right now comfortably at the head of what is said class. As the drivers make the way on through and up towards turn at number 8. Meanwhile, this is Chris Round fighting side by side with none other than Ryan Davies, and well, he's your leader in the pro class this round, fighting with what is your second place pro driver here. Davies goes through on the inside and brings it together. Lovely move there for Ryan Davies. Why is this important? Well, in the fact, it's a push round back towards Constable after he was losing a bit of a gap to Constable. You can see there, Chris Constable now a bit closer as a result. Mark Collicott starting to emerge behind him as well. So the two prime leaders, I think, are going to end up fighting with the pros just as much as they are going to be fighting one another at this point in the race. And well, for Round, he's got to try and make some tactical decisions, which is to try and not let Collicott go in a manner that's going to cost him time. And indeed, he'll want Collicott to pass Constable, and hopefully it costs Constable a lot of time and force the gap open. You've got to be very tactical in this multi-class race, and it's driver classes rather than machine classes. And right now, it's not working out for Round, and he's been made to push the cars. You can see Collicott there again, putting out the toe down the start finish straight, saying, I think to Constable, look, I'm here behind you, I'm not racing you, let me go. And I think the more and more he does this, in the end, Constable's got to make a conscious decision. Does he let it go or not? Well, here comes Collicott. He's going to force the decision of Constable. Constable stays wide, going into turn 2 into Parabolica, as they made the way out to the right hand, into the double left they go. And again, Collicott looking up the inside, trying to use the spear brakes of the Walsh, but but he hasn't got the leverage, and that is costing him the time as they make the way on down towards turn at number 6. But as they do so, meanwhile, looking for these guys a bit further down the road, we look back to Guy Kylie, the wrong stuff driving in the number 17, and right now this is the fight of 5 amps. What is the run from P6 to P10 in the class? Albeit it is P45 for a P49 overall, and as they race on here going into North Curve, right now Kylie trying to stay close to Andrew Skinner, and will, as they make their way in towards turn at number 2. A quick mention here to Andrew Skinner, in the fact running a special livery here, the TC Important Driver this weekend in support of Cancer Research in the UK, I do believe, on the side of the car. And you may remember back in what was season 11, we made a special mention to the fact that Skinner and the TC Corporate team all running liveries in tribute of Cancer Research and to raise awareness for cancer, and that is in reference to Andrew's a good friend who at the time was suffering from cancer and was going for operations to try and resolve the cancer, and I do believe they have been able to clear it as a result. The cancer has definitely been reeled back considerably, so therefore they want to run the livery on the car once again here in honour of Andy Skinner's great friend, who is definitely on the upward path in the fight against cancer, and it's great to see the livery on the machine, and good luck to Andrew's friend and so to Andy today, indeed racing for a higher cause as he makes his way on through turns of 9 and 10. We come from the special livery machine to a little bit further behind Marvin Cruz here, who right now chased after Chris Bates as these two fight for P14 in the Chrome class, and were both affected by early incidents. Particularly Cruz after that spin for the old duty cars drive both in qualifying and also in the race, as they made their way onto the braking zone here for turn at number 12. Cruz are coming on through, but from them we have a little bit of drama further up the road, and this is in the elite class. We just had Aiden Neek find his way past David Severo. I think it's a change of position for the Arnold competition versus Arnold competition league driver, and as they make their way in towards turn at number 8, they've got Shilcock right behind. Was there an instant that predated this, or perhaps a mistake that was made from what Severo? We have a quick replay to find out. This was in the run down towards turn at number 6 onto the brakes they went, and as they did so, Sparrow leaving the door wide open there for Needs to come through. So I think this is a tactical decision, perhaps the idea being that it'll be better for their race if they do swap places there. In fact, Sparrow might be perhaps struggling a little bit of fuel saving right now, and therefore needing a bit of levity going into the pit stop window of this race, and meanwhile they're able to do it in a manner which meant the Shilcock would not get quite close enough in order to potentially sneak his way up the inside. And of course, when you're two drivers from the same team or sister teams, you want to work together on that, you've got to be conscious of the drivers around you. But as our top 4 makes its way onto the next lap, in fact top 5 there with Jakarta a bit further back in the absolute most ace of the machine. Right now these guys continue to still away, and Jakarta's just trying to stay within the entrails of the slipstream off of the top 4 as they make their way up towards the next braking zone. And as they head in towards turn at number 2, and we're on your live pitches, we do look back from these guys a bit further down the order, and this is none other than Kevin Gardner of the Next Gen Racing, who's at the back of a long line of cars here, all close together. Reece Saunders at the head of it, and right now this is the run for P15 through to P19, and is a whole medley of elite driver Saunders ahead of Rob Zelby and then level. Zelby's looking around the outside here, Saunders got on the pace, and right now the prime driver eager to make some more progress, so they go side by side into turn number 2, and as they make their way from the right in towards the left, once they come on through, it's going to be a drag race all the way down towards turn number 6 they go, and Saunders right now on the charge here as they head through the left-hander. But the problem is that Walsh hasn't got the speed in the long term. Look at the Ferrari, it's starting to get nose ahead, but Saunders does have the inside. He has the spear of races here, flash the lights there from lever, throws track. Saunders trying to help his teammate, otherwise what is there, Zelby out as they make their way through. Zelby goes a bit deep, I'm not sure there's a problem between the two drivers, but Rob Zelby overcooking the braking zone. He's been turned on exit, and I'm not quite sure he's been in contact with, I believe there's been a bit of contact with UK Racing Stewart driver, and was an attempt around the outside. He spins there in frustration. The cars and traction control not stopping him from going around, and the number 57 driver, they're losing all the places in the space of 1 corner. He drops all the way back behind the top 5 and battle, and that is a painful loss for the 57 driver from Britain, as right now he's got it all to do again, and goodness me, gaining 1 or 2 places for Hockenheim. He can take a whole 60 minutes, let alone regaining 15. As he makes his way on through turns 9 and 10, he'll get his head down. He's got Steiner Sani right behind him. Sani is a class rival for P6 now. Rob Zelby's running in, and as they make the way in towards what is turn number 11 here, coming through. Zelby going wide. I think that's overheating the tyres here. Sani makes the move, or he's going to try to, and as they go side by side through the left-hander, where you can see there Sani staying higher, but he can't quite find a way around it, even though using the camera of the road to bury the BMW, get the throttle in. Rob Zelby defends the position and defends it well when all is said and done. And and we take a look back to what happened to Rob Selby only moments ago, coming into the hairpin. This was under braking, battling to Saunders, a small rub between the two of them, sent Selby slightly astray, but he catches it as they come out of the corner. Goodness me, just a bit too much steering off there with the power going down, spins himself his own accord by looks of things, and then a small tap round from what would have been, I believe, the car to Ramadan, who was in the wrong place at the right time to give Selby a little bit of a further push. I think there'll be a racing incident between them, and well, with that Rob Selby definitely feeling the pain of trying to go for that move versus Saunders. And as we return to your live pictures, the question we've had fed through from the Twitch chat of Ryan Moles. Good evening to you, Ryan. I hope you're doing well. Was with regards to the track temperatures, well, we will bring those up on screen for you very shortly. And here they are on the right hand side. As you can see, ambient 21 degrees centigrade, track at the moment 24 degrees centigrade. You expect that track temperature to go up little by little, given the fact it's gone up by 3 degrees centigrade since qualifying. And that's because we've got all our drivers out of the circuit, laying down the rubber and laying down the heat as well. And right now the circuit, very comfortable circuit, nice temperature to it, and that is only going to give our drivers even more motivation to push harder and harder as they roar their way on through. And as they do, say hello to Ryan Walker in the YouTube chat. Good evening to you, Ryan. I hope you're doing well. And as our drivers make the way on through in towards the closing stages of the 20th minute of racing, which definitely has been an entertaining opening 20 minutes for the right reasons, and then some that perhaps we didn't want to see, such as the opening lap incident which separated the field. But ever since that, things have calmed down and all the drivers are getting on with the racing, and that is something we're all here for, as we do see Conor Craven right now looking for a ride on Casperton instead, the P37 overall, but P9 prime driver here. We definitely did have a good qualifying session, but things gone a little bit backwards since the start of the race, being right in the centre of what was the open lap incident. But right now the Englishman finding his way on through in the Audi R8. When he comes through the right-hand return at number 15, he'll be feeling as though his chance is now going to lie just as much on strategy as it will with regards to race pace. Speaking of strategy, we haven't seen anybody so far go for what would be, we do believe, their one pit stop for today. Although saying that, actually let me correct myself in the fact that we may have had one or two drivers that made an early pit stop. In fact, Declan Page has made a pit stop already. He's at P34, and it was a very long pit stop in that, so I'm not sure that we can read too much into it. In fact, it's stationary time was the best part of, I do believe, 1 minute 23, and I've actually just had fed through to me that Daniel Pace started from the pit lane, and that's the data we get with regards to when he pitted, so we have to call that Pace, but nobody yet has made a strategic pit stop. But meanwhile, speaking of tactical battling, here's Cameron Garner going side by side with Reece Saunders in towards turn number 8 as they come on through into 9-10 they go. Garner on the inside, they're through 10, Saunders out of position. Khalid Ramadan is going to put his nose into where Saunders would argue doesn't belong, but Ramadan says it does belong indeed, and as they make their way towards turn number 11, the Somsport driver makes a brilliant move to capitalise on what was already some fantastic battle between Garner and Saunders, and moves up into P17. It's important for him because it puts him a place clear of Casper Brockner, who's now caught behind Saunders, and the old dudes in cars driver will be thinking, right, I've now got the horrible task of trying to find my way past the lead driver who's still building up pace as well. And as Brockner makes his way through turns 15 to 16, we ride aboard the dashboard here of the Danishman as the Porsche Flight 6 roars up through the gears, heading upwards of 9,000 RPM. But right now, as the number 11 driver comes up through into turn number 1, we can see the gap starting to open up here, and as he makes his way through the right-hander, we do have a pit stop for Alex Hill, albeit Alex Hill much further down the order, and therefore is it a strategic pit stop? Well, we are into the effective pit window now. In terms of that, we normally would see our pit stops anywhere around from the 20th minute, or the 21st minute we should say, all the way through to sometimes what would be the 50th to 55th minute. So it could open up the race there even more. And whoever goes for an undercut here and finds some green going out on circuit, they may just be able to give themselves plenty of opportunity to gain a place where others continue to battle. But we are now in pit stop territory, but who will be the drivers who go for the gamble? They decide to be so early in order to offset the field, but of course they come out in the traffic or come out towards the leaders, who will essentially try to put them a lap down. That could prove costly and put them completely off the pace. But other drivers have made the way on around there. Also, Alex Hill, as we have confirmation from GZ behind the Twitch chat, has to repair work to the car due to the incident of the green flag procedure. The open lap incident we do keep referring to, we had replays of earlier. So he's doing repair work on the car and trying to push on. But other drivers have made the way on through and roaring. All the drivers right now absolutely on a mission here to try and go a little bit longer on this open instead, including Casper Brockner, albeit he's still got to find a way past Saunders. It's the battle of the two Porsches. But from them, speaking of battles and further up the road, this is the prime lead battle for P11 overall. It's Round versus Constable still, with Oldfield a little bit further behind, and separating Oldfield from them is none other than Mark Kolokov. But speaking of Simon Oldfield, there he is. He's fallen off the pace a little bit over the last 3-4 laps. In fact, that last lap, 3/10 of the pace of Brown and Constable, and I think the team badge is still driving at this point. Just be focusing on making sure he maintains because he freed the prime class. But now it's still a huge achievement for the number 2 driver and something that gives him a massive pat back. Indeed, the team will be actually jumping down up in joy in the pit lane after the race if he's able to bring it on home, just because the Britain today has really brought on a lot of pace compared to Daytona last week. And well, of course, the championship campaign is made up of multiple rounds, not just one, although one can be the highlight that does the difference between the championship win and will certainly lose it out. But right now, this could be a highlight of the day. It's Conley battles with Barker. Barker on the right, Conley on the left. And as they make the way to turn number 2, Barker right now, he's going to be out on the wide. He's going to be inside to turns 3 and 4. And here comes the Ford GT as he swings back to the inside. Conley now will try and hold the outside on the parabolic curve. But look at the Ford GT go. Many of you remarked it, and right now the Ford is just roaring away as they make their way in towards turn number 6, on towards the braking zone they go. Conley's going to go really late on the brakes to make this happen. Barker leaves the door open here, and Conley sends it all around the inside. Barker turns in. Conley gets it started, but he makes it and he gets it wrong. Conley goes round there and just get on the power with too much steering off, much like we saw with Rob Shelby earlier. And the UK Racing Mansell driver falls their hairpin and goes around again. That hairpin catches out many a driver from UKSR today. And as he tries to bring it back together, he loses out versus Bostock and what is also, I do believe, a couple of drivers from other classes. But meanwhile, the big question is, where on earth is Matt Edmondson? Well, Edmondson, here he is. He was battling with Barker before all this happened. He's coming to the pits already. He's down to P50, but this is important. We are starting to see pit stops from drivers here, particularly in the lower classes and further down the field. I wouldn't be surprised if this now starts to act as a little bit of a gauge for our drivers inside the top 20 in terms of when do you pit. I mean, well, not thinking about pitting, but thinking about battling here. This is Andy Skinner versus Halsoy. As Chris Halsoy looks to go around the outside of the band into the inside of turn 8. And Halsoy will get it in. The end, Skinner makes his way on down towards turn number 11. And as they do so, coming into the right hand and onwards towards turn number 12, the Britain here for Teasers for Copper continues to challenge for 9 who he needs to race with rather than fighting with drivers of the other class. But as they head onwards and up towards what will be for them, lap number 16 shortly, a good point being raced by Ryan Moulton, which is the elite to be coming through the traffic soon, and that is what is going to make pitting even harder regardless of where you are on circuit, because you may just come out and be a lap down, or you may come out into lapping traffic, and either way that can cost you a lot of time in its own right, and therefore now the pit stop window becomes ever more constricted. And as the guys push on through, meanwhile we look to Stephen Andre Livingston as he does have on his inside Alex Millwood, who again is continuing to try and recover his way from the field through an early spin or a couple of early instances from what we've had reported to us. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to quite catch us to get a replay, but Millwood have made his way on through turn number 4 and on to turn 5 and down towards 6 he goes. Right now the racing lab at Esports tries Stephen Andre Livingston just starts in behind, and well, against second pit stop P30 in the prime class, and it's definitely looking as though today is going to be a day of just looking to find some points out there and getting ready for the return after the season break. Well, he has got some rivals in front, including Chris Bates, who is 3 places up the road from him, up in P42. So it's not as though Livingston's not good company, but he knows he's got his work cut out for him to make sure he can get to that company. It's been on Neil Jack here, battling now with Millwood, defends the inside into Mercedes Arena, and Millwood here, you can understand if he might be mumbling under his breath a bit, why are they fighting me? We're not in the same class. Well, Millwood definitely guaranteed spot on the demonstration today. How many overtakes at every corner at the Hockenheim ring, and he does it through turns 9 and 10 there as Neil Jack does a good defence, but Millwood finds the pace as they make the way into towards Mobile 1 curve. As they come through the right hander from them. Meanwhile, we look a little bit further up the order again, and now we look to Neil Smith, your AMP leader, who is building quite the traffic jam behind him with cars from other classes. He's around P19, and right behind him is Tom Weston, also John Eddowes, and Weston and Eddowes are fighting for P6 in the pro class right now. So Smith keeping his head down, pushing on. Jack Barker in P26 is the second place AMP driver, is in a similar situation, Dean, who drives in the pro class. So the AMPs right now really started to find themselves in a bit of a nip and tuck versus drivers of the pro class, and it's not come from a place to be, it must be said, but still here with these guys who's going to keep your head down and carry on the racing. Speaking of which, well, here goes Rob Selby looking up the inside of Barker in towards the Smith's hairpin. The hairpin that caught out Selby about 5 laps ago. He's hoping he's not going to catch him out this time. Barker just stays clear, they get the power through, and with Barker there using the whip for the corner to stay safe and out of danger, and what the pass is made between the two of them as they make the way in towards turn number 7, but coming back to Weston versus Eddowes, they make the way in towards Mobile 1, as they head into the stadium section. Weston's so close right now to the back of Smith, but Enos being, well, ever closer. Weston under huge pressure, being forced to take action. Enos looks around the outside. It's going to be brave for the Toyota driver to go outside to inside from 13. Into 14 he goes, and as he does so, into Sudgerd. Weston to the outside, goes deep, and John Enos forcing the door open. But look at that, Weston cuts back and goes straight into the pits there. So Weston keeping his options open, and that's a very last minute call into the pits. I think Enos is going to be wondering, oh goodness me, he's just simply outfoxed me into the pits. Brilliant race between the two, and Weston to react like that. Weston knows right now he needs some space in circuit, and look at that circuit map right now, particularly the bottom portion of it. We have got the best part of what is about 35 of our 57 car field running through the stadium section up towards where it's turns 1 and 2. That goes to show you how tight this field is, and as our drive make the way around, the challenge will be, of course, in the fact you don't want to come out in onset, you want to be in clear air, and as they make the way on through, Elos right now, he's got Pete Cox, old friend, old rival, of course, dating back to season 8 where they battled for the Pro Championship. It went the way of Elos in the end by a small margin, one of the smallest margins we've ever seen the championship go in the UK Racing GT3 League's history. But right now Cox can get firmly re-established with his old friend and rival, and I think it's going to be Elos looking at his rearview mirror and noticing that he has another BMW, and right now it's reignited the old flames. But I swing to the inside from Elos here. He wants to get past Neil Smith, the Amney. The Smith goes a bit deep into Mercedes, but as they make over 9 and 10, remember it switches back into the right-hander at 10, and Smith can make himself nice and obstinately wide here. But Elos says no, can do, thank you, as they drag race away past the stationary camera. Here comes Peter Cox as well, but I don't think he was able to get alongside there into the braking zone of number 1. And right now Cox is made to the Destino Motorsports driver, who knows he needs to get back after Elos immediately, but Smith shuts the door into 12. Cox is a little bit wobbled there on the apex curve. I believe he had to back out there to avoid contact with the rear of Smith's car, and as they make the way through 13 and 14, the 68 driver here just cannot get past Smith like Elos can, and that is going to prove costly. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, a driver who we haven't talked about too much, Matthew Whitefoot, as the 1 and 4 driver makes his way out turn number 6 right now, pushing onwards in a very comfortable and peaceful P5 in the prime class. He's chased after the pros in front of him as sharp as Cox and Edos, with Smith intervening in between. But right now the gap is 12.7 seconds to Rob Selby. He could be looking for his first top 5 of the season here, the 1 and 4 driver, and he has previously been a race winner in the AM class in the GT3 League, so he's got the experience there, and we're looking to try and capitalise on it. Meanwhile, as we look from Matt White, the 2 drivers a little bit further down the order, drives out of sync now due to pit stops. We look to Matt Edmondson, and well, Edmondson might be onto something here, ladies and gentlemen, because keep in mind, when he came into the pits, he was running P3 in the AM class behind Jack Barker, and he did have close behind him at the time what was none other, than the charging of what was, goodness me, I do believe that James Bostock and also a couple other rivals. Right now, Edmondson is ahead of Barker after the pit stop. He's up to P5 in the AM class. He's still got places to go. The guy Kylie L coming in. We've then got Neil Jack just up the road, who also needs to take a pit stop. John Doble, James Bostock, and last but not least, Neil Smith. Could this be Edmondson making strategy work, much like he did at Indianapolis in what was the GT3 GTP League at Season 1? Could he lead his way to victory in the AM class? We'll have to wait and see. But other guys have made the way on through. We're hearing there's been quite the incident for Cy Hartley, which has seen had to be towed to the pits quite recently, and we have a replay as to what happened for the Ziggy Supersport driver. Oh, goodness me, that's coming out of Mobile 1, going a bit wide. I think the rear left tyre just going to what was the gravel there and sending the car spiraling towards the wall, and the Ziggy Supersport car Marte driver having to be towed in, and that will be a broken front right suspension. I suspect the engine as well will not be in the best state, and Cy Hartley losing out there in a corner where it's so easy to get it wrong when you're pushing to the maximum. But where it's gone wrong for him, others will rise as a result. But he's currently in the pit lane. Repair work ongoing on the car after the tow time, and well, if that fast repair does get played into effect, it will be, and it's going to be a very quick repair. Well, he's leaving the pit lane now, so he's back out there. He's down to P54 from what we understand. They made one through to say hello to my guy Cy there here, the Twitch, and good evening, Cy. I hope you're doing well. And as I drive roll on through, say hello to Agus Hunter, also he says in the Twitch chat. As they all head on towards what will be the second half of this race. We are now 32.5 minutes in. We've still got the best part of 27.5 minutes plus the final lap to go. We are in the midst of pit stops. If you're in the part of the field outside the top 20 for the most part, and this is where we're now starting to see the exchange of places, which we had some early pit stops in the elite class, particularly at Daniel Gilcock, the Track Team's racing driver, the Britain making his way up for return to 9 to 10, and as he does so here right now, has he picked the right time to pit, or has he cost himself time, given the fact that he's coming out in amongst the number of drivers he's going to be battling with, including Khalid Ramadan, who we see there in the rear of your picture, and as they made their way under, braking in towards turn number 12, we should have got the track 6 racing driver, I think definitely in the pinch with regards to the fact he's got to fight his way through the order and hope he doesn't lose too much more time. He's got Gavin Gardner just in front of him as well after Alan Lever, and that will mean he's going to have to pass Gardner on the circuit, which yet to take a pit stop, unless Gardner decides to defect his way into the pit lane. You would imagine that Gardner might be considering doing that in the next 7 minutes or so, given the fact we are running out of race time and that pit window is gradually heading towards closure. But keep in mind, depending on the circuit, we have seen pit stops from the GT3 League go as late sometimes or what has been up to 53rd minute in the sprint races, and right now Shilcott will be hoping that he can just gradually pick his way past his rival, because he is the highest placed driver on this overall field who has taken a pit stop step. He's waiting for everyone in front of him to pit, and where he fits into that mix is the big question, because he is knocking down with Parabolica. Meanwhile, we look back to Casper Rotner, who continues to chase after Cleve Ramadan, the old Winter Cars black driver, right now chase after Soft Sport Machine, on the head in towards the Pittsburgh ahead. Both of them know the pit stop's got to come at some point. Right now, Rotner definitely building on Ramadan and picking up the time each and every lap. It's a couple of attempts a lap, and the Danishman, I think, feeling the confidence displaying. If he can't do it on the circuit, he may just be able to do it in the pit lane soon. And he comes through the right and in towards the left-hander. Onto the brakes they both go, and it was number 11 driver does so. More changes further in the AM class, including what has been a pit stop for Andy Skinner, who's come out behind Jack Barker, I do believe. So there was a change there. Meanwhile, new race leader in this race, Siakago / John Davis, respective blue flags to run down towards Mobile 1 curve. New race leader in the form of Harold Ricardo, who carries on onto what is a 22nd lap on his first stint ahead of Helder Gonsalves. Jack Taylor also coming through. Meanwhile, on large competition, they're furiously working the pit lane all together. That's Armstrong coming down for the Jags. Also there, David Sabera and Aidan Neat. They leave the pit lane in formation, but there's a change of position, and that is going to be Aidan Neat, who jumps ahead of what is it, Sabera. I think Neat was ahead of Sabera before the pits in fact there, so they return to their original positions. But look at the gapping of the field here. Sabera in particular coming out with multiple cars between himself and his teammates, so that's going to cost him time. Whilst they may be teammates, they're also racing for their own drivers' championships, of course, but it does mean that with them right now, they've got quite a bit of traffic separated out. That may cost them the ability to fuel save a group, but it is looking as though on competition are on course for a 1, 2, 3 here today, and well, it'll be the first time we have seen that in a long time in the UK Racing GT3 League. A team completely locking out the podium overall or in its class as they head in towards turn number 6. Well, from them, we do look to a bit further down the order to Rhys Saunders, who right now trying to chase after Rob Armstrong. Saunders has taken his pit stop, it should be pointed out, so now he is fighting for positions all the way to checker flag, and when he makes his way on through turns 3 and 4, tucked in very tight to the rear of the Mercedes of Armstrong, but that Mercedes as well, the overspeed here as they roar their way on down the Parabolica curve, and now towards Pittsburgh. You can see Armstrong having to go defensive for UK Racing Bansal, and meanwhile Saunders going to look to the outside. Armstrong breaks nice and early, lifts off of back, and lets Saunders go at 9, and not in the same race in terms of their strategies, albeit Saunders goes very deep there with the overspeed, I think catching him out, and Armstrong backs off again, but doesn't want to lose any more time, so he tucks in nice and closely, and then they do settle their differences, but Saunders almost catching himself out, given the overspeed of the toe of the Mercedes. Armstrong here knowing that his races with Jeff Griffiths, who is a bit further back, they're separated by 6.3 seconds, and the visible racing driver right now, number 86, still giving chase, but not close enough to start to think about setting up a move, and we'll be hoping the time comes for him towards the end of the hour. As he makes his way on around from the right-hander, a little bit of connectivity issues there for Cy Hartley. Hope that's not a sign of something endemic in the car. And as he makes his way on around, the more the drivers do here, well, we've got more pit stops playing out with Chris Constable, Cameron Gardner, and Casper Gardner into the pits. And the reason why Constable coming in is quite a bit of intrigue is because he was chasing after this man, Chris Round, the leader of the Prime Class. They were separated and have been separated all race by less than a second. But Round staying out, Constable coming in. Now, is that the right call? I can tell you, he's coming out in P3, and he has brought himself a bit of breathing room to Darren Sharples, or Darren Sharples and his 9-2 colleagues, in terms of the fact they've got 3 seconds between the two of them, so it may have worked out, but Round has also got James Armstrong looking up his inside here into turn 7, the elite leader, before we all saw the pit stop start to play out. So right now, Round, I think, has to be very tactical as he lets Armstrong go through 7 into 8, doesn't really lose any time as the Leroy Jenkins driver, but he's going to be worried, I think, in the fact that right now he's got to keep up the pace as they make the way on through. We can see that driver moving aside. That's got a crave in respect to the blue flag and moving aside before Mobile 1 curve, but it is also going to mean they lose a bit of lap time there, but it is to be expected as they head in towards turn number 12, and as they do, Craven goes nice and high and lets on through as well, none other than Aidan the lead right now, trying to stay with Armstrong. Remember, whilst they are teammates, they've got a race going on between them, and now Vanee, he's looking to try and find a way back versus Armstrong to make sure it's not the James Armstrong show in terms of that front row podium. But they've made the way out on the right hand and on towards the next lap they go. Meanwhile, further behind, we also do see what is David Severo finding his way on past. I do believe that James Boston, and next lap will be for him. What will be the goal? He hasn't passed Boston there. We do apologise. He'll be looking to pass Boston shortly. He did previously pass what was Craven. In fact, he's got Craven in front there. So Lever's Road came into the pits. In fact, we'll get our facts and figures right. Severo makes his way up past Boston. Boston right now keeping his head down and trying to chase after some hand positions. And Boston in particular, he's currently P7 inside with James Conley, who is the best part of what is 10 seconds up the road from him. But from these guys, we look to Tom Weston here, who's still racing and racing hard as he goes after Alex Hill. These two have made pit stops, but in very different races. For Hill, it was a bit of an early instant and some fast repair work, so he's had a very early pit stop. Weston, meanwhile, has only recently pitted, albeit for Weston it's been difficult to be in the section of the race, but an instant cost him a number of places. But both drivers here in 9, they've got a lot of pace in the car, but they're not exactly where they should be right now. As meanwhile, we have had Jack Taylor into the pits. We're just waiting to see where he comes out in the order. As all tries head on through here. Well, we've got not long left in terms of racing, but with all the pit stops we've seen so far, we're still waiting to see when our leaders in a good number of the classes will decide to come on into the pits. And once Weston chases after Hill still, one of the ones we have got the big question mark on is Neil Smith, our leader, who's 4 seconds clear of John Doble. But keeping in mind that Smith, in fact, let's correct ourselves there, Smith has just pitted, so that's why he's lost a lot of time. And Smith right now has come back out your leader in the AM class, and Neil Smith is on course here for a comfortable win in the AM class. Behind him is John Doble, but keep in mind that John Doble is P2 and not yet taking a pit stop in the AM class. He's about the last race in the AM class to pit, so therefore he's out of position right now, much like Andy Skinner. But I think they're both going as long as possible in order to try and gain places by the overcut, which is usually known as called as going long. But as Doble makes his way in towards turn number 8, he'll be just keeping the faith in the strategy here and hoping some places can come to him. But from him, we'll look back to Brian Davies, who has got what is the company of James Armstrong right behind Davies. You get to bid. There goes Josh Brown, your race leader, as we look at those overall standings. And there you can see your top 35, 2 pros on P1, P2 right now for TE Simsport. But again, they have got to pits. They'll lose that lead as up the inside of Davies goes Armstrong. You see James Conley there taking his time into the corner 9. He's got 2 lead lap drives, 3 lead lap drives coming his way, and doesn't want to get in their way whatsoever. As they make the way in towards Mercedes, Davies losing the place there. And now Nick Vine closing up little by little and eager to get close to Armstrong. And Davies just thinking about the run to P2 and making sure to make it a 1-2 in the pro class for TE Simsport today. Meanwhile, Josh Pratt in a very comfortable lead right now. The TE Simsport corporate driver, 15 seconds clear of the rising pack of elites who've already pitted. But for him, it just simply is about getting the car to the end of the stint and then bringing it on home. What will be at the final stint of the day as he comes into the pits on call. The TE Simsport corporate driver will relinquish the lead, but he'll be very happy to have laid a lap here at the Hockenheim ring overall, not just in class. And as he goes through, James Armstrong takes the lead back for our knowledge competition and makes his way in to what will be approximately another 10 laps of racing. As he makes his way around here from him, we do look to lift up down the order once again, and we look back to where you pass and standing positions. And well, in particular, we do look to what is Peter Armstrong. He's leading the race. Right now, chasing after John Meadows. The gap between the two 5 seconds, and I believe that has come about from the fact that the traffic has not fallen favourably for Cox. Keep in mind that Eddowes and Cox have yet to pit, and well, as soon as I say that, Cox makes his way into the pit lane, so does Eddowes. So they finally fall back into the sequence, and as they come on down pit lane, it means that Mark Pollock will make his way on through here to take what will most likely be P3 back in the pro class, because Ryan Davies is leaving the pit lane right now. Joshua Pratt is still out there, has taken his pit stop, so therefore it does mean that the lead 3 at the pro class are confirmed now strategy, and it just comes down to them bringing it to the finish. But meanwhile, we are waiting to see where Eddowes comes out of all of this. He leaves his pit box, makes his way down the pit lane. Khalid Ramadan makes his way on through, so Eddowes is going to fall quite a way down. And as the Somsport driver heads up towards turn number 2, meanwhile, Casper Rotner comes on through, and then here is John Eddowes. So in the end, he comes back out P7 ahead of Alex Hill and Tom Weston. And well, meanwhile, Peter Cox has come right onto the back of the battle of Hill and Weston, so he might have an opportunity here to go hunting for P8 in the pro class. I think he'll be a little bit disappointed he's not close enough to reignite that rivalry with Eddowes even further. But as they make the way through turns 2, 3 and 4, as many of you are remarking on Neil Smith absolutely smashing it in the AM class, using words there of Tommy Box and the Twitch track. Tommy Box. Meanwhile, here comes Lee King McGee up the inside of what is their Steinhaus Sally. Another place to be gained for the P33, now P32 overall, and what is P14 Pro driver. Your championship leader going into the state afternoon at Daytona. The AKM Racing UK trying to start from the back of the grid due to a qualifying ban from penalty for round number 1. And the Britain right now, knowing that today is all about damage limitation, and Nicholas Rice also trying to take the same approach here. He's been following King McGee all race, looks up the inside then, Sally sees what's coming, but Rice gets it wrong, and the car goes round, and the Ferrari, that's the third Ferrari we've seen go spinning, coming out of Spencer Kerr hairpin. It just seems as though it's the Ferrari 296 that just do not like the hairpin, particularly on tight steering lock and trying to get the power down, and with Rice setting his enthusiasm, gets himself back up to speed, but doesn't need 2 spins to do it, he only needs the 1, and Destino Motorsports Drive doesn't lose any class positions. He stays P15 in class in the Pro class, but he loses plenty of positions overall, and now his work's made even harder. But meanwhile, Daniel Page will look in his rearview mirror and thinking, oh goodness me, I've now got King McGee right behind me, and as they make their way in towards turn number 12, we ride and look back from the rear here of the old duty cars, black driver, number 8 Portuguese, as he makes his way up towards turn number 15, and as he does so, working King McGee behind him, it's going to be a tough task to do over the remaining 16 minutes, and right now as they roll the way to the right, I can tell you he's trying to hold off the fastest driver in the Pro class here, as they make their way up towards turn number 1. On lap number 27 they go, as our leaders being on towards the end of said lap, was Hayes heading through turn 1, bounces his way up the apex curve there, and now McGee is looking up for an opportunity in turn 2. He'll know how he doesn't need to go for it here, this takes the run from turn 2, all the way up towards turn 6, where the M4 strength lies in terms of straight line speed. All he needs to do is stay with a couple of attempts, and he can outrun his rival as they head up towards what will be the next hairpin. The gap looks a little bit too large at the moment, and Pace does have the toe of Pimley at a distance, but here comes the BMW M4, it moves closer and closer. 2 tenths is the gap. He look for the move. No, he does not. He waits behind as they make the way on through it. Meanwhile, Ollie Pimley, we hope that Pace can just simply focus more on battling behind and not put Pimley under any more pressure. But meanwhile, speaking of pressure, Alex Millwood on pressure still to try and carve his way up to P26 despite the setbacks. He has made his way into the top half of this grid now, and as the Effect Simulation Drive charges on, he's looking to a P11 here in the elite class, given that Reece Saunders is P10, or Gavin Gardner's now, as in fact Gardner's been involved in a major incident. Oh goodness me, and that is on pit lane exit. So with that pit lane entry, as we get our vocabulary right, and well, for Gavin Gardner, I'm not quite sure what's happened, but he is coming down the pit lane, and that's going to be another pit stop for him, surely. It's going to be a forced one, maybe it's just going to end up being a drive-through, but Gavin Gardner with a nasty spin. What exactly happened? We'll take a look back. Making his way in towards turn 15. Looks like the rear of the car's going to let go here. In fact, no, he drops off the sausage curb coming out of 15, and that's what causes the rear of the Ferrari to slide loose, and Gardner in the end gets it off the road back onto the grass, and where he's locked into driving down the pit lane, he can't go back on himself, as otherwise it'd be an immediate disqualification from the race, given the automated racing rules in iRacing. So next gen racing drive goes into the pit, and that was his race over there and there, and I think deciding to retire the race from the race, gives the back, effectively him out on the hump. But meanwhile, Daniel Page battling side by side here with King McGee as they made the way on through turn number 4 up towards 5 and 6 they go, and as they make the way down now, it's going to be Page versus Pimley versus King McGee, 3-way fight as they make the way down towards the hairpin. You can see Page on the inside. King McGee tucks him right behind him, Pimley on the right. It's going to be 3-wide under braking here, but Page is going to brake as late as he can. Pimley looks around the outside, but King McGee's there to cover up the Symphony Esports driver, and as they all make their way through, power oversteer there for Page. King McGee has to snap the car to the inside, run out the corner, and he's going to get ahead of Pimley, or is he, as they run their way into Mercedes Arena. Still side by side, Pimley's not giving in here. He's showing that he's got a place in this grid just as much as everyone else, and as they make the way through the left, into the right they go. Pimley holding on here. It was a brilliant counter-attack battling as they roll off the corner and onwards towards turn number 11, and it's cost them time versus the likes of that Sharp, who's only 7 seconds up the road. But for these guys right now, every point is worth making as we jump on board here with the AKM Racing UK driver, who was trying to find his way past the rear-engine rear-wheel drive Porsche. He just cannot seem to find a way to knock down the defensive wall that Pimley is putting up. As they head on through turn number 14 into 15, he can see King McGee under braking, gets so close into the corner. He's literally stripping meters meters out of his drive under braking, and the problem is he gets close as he wants. If he can't get alongside, it's not going to be worth it. He takes a little look to the inside, trying to get to Pimley's head, trying to get his rivals to make an unforced error. As they head on through the right hand, onwards they go towards turn number 2. We know errors being made there from Pimley, and Pimley holding on. And again, that boy is so strong under braking into these hairpin corners. That is where Pimley's able to really come back and kick the game onto the trail braking zones. That seems to be where the AKM Racing UK drivers feels a lot more confident in how the car flows from apex to apex as they drag race the way through the parabolic curve once again. For these guys, it may only be a battle of a P12 in the pro class, but there's points awarded for every position in the class, and that's why you've got to fight your way on through as they head in towards the hairpin. At this time, no change of position. They head off towards turn at number 7. Meanwhile, we look back to the front of the field. Let's not forget the fact we've got a battle right at the front, and this is James Armstrong versus Aidan Neat as they head in towards what will be the split scare hairpin of what is for them the 30th time of asking as they head on down. Armstrong, of course, has been leading this race quite comfortably, but Neat has now closed back up, and all the Arnold competition drivers are both of the same team, and not one from the sister outfit of Arnold competition Ping, as we see Sabrera there having a bit of a moment, a bit of an altercation, I believe, with one of our drivers who's down a lap. Not quite sure who that was. I mean, it's by the TE6 cars. What I can tell you is that meanwhile, really coming strong versus Armstrong and looking for an opportunity here to take the win. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the field, we have had a return to the pits for James Bostock, the Petec GP2 driver who was running inside the top 5 of the AMP class. It's gone very, very wrong for, and well, the question that you might be asking is what exactly happened to him after what is looking to be a strong race today. But we have a quick replay to play.
You think it might be?
All good as well. Well, this is the aftermath, and it looks as though there's been some sort of shunt to the barrier in turn number 8 there for the Petec GP2 driver, who immediately got it off the road and clear. Can't quite bring you the full replay of what's happened. Available to see, where you can show you the aftermath there and explain why he had to be towed to the pits. Unfortunate for him, and perhaps third time will be the chance to return to Suzuka in 2 weeks' time. He's shown a lot of pace in, definitely a contender for podium, if not at least top 5 in the AMP class. It wasn't to be today. To come back to the battle for the overall and elite win. Versus Armstrong being your lead, and the Audi drivers making the way on through the right to the left there, and turns 2 to 3, 4. Neat staying very close here, and Armstrong I think started to struggle a little bit with tires, so that rear left looking a little bit less grippy compared to Neat as they made the way out the corner. He may just be simply pushing a bit harder, but it does seem as zoning in a bit more comfortable zone right now as they head down into the turn 6 hairpin. This time gap standing on what is 3 attempts under braking, but in the end a bit too close from there, and the gap resetting at 4.5 attempts. Keep our eyes on that, but as they make the way in towards Mercedes, we also keep our eyes on this. And boy, it's a bit of a snake train, but let's dissect it for you. And at the front of this quartet is Jeff Griffiths, your P9 Prime driver, but behind us Matt Edmondson, your P2 AM driver. Why this is important is because Edmondson, as we said earlier on strategy, by going for the undercut, was able to jump back into P2 ahead of Jack Barker. Or if you discount Nicholas Rice, who is between Edmondson, you then have Barker there behind, and that is the fight for P2, P3 in the AM class. We're right now the Ford GT driver just trying to find his way on back on through versus Rice, but as Rice comes on through, in turn he wants to try and cut his way past Edmondson, but the Destino Motorsports driver is finding this easier said than done as they head in towards turn number 1. We're going on through into the right hand here. You see Barker falling back again, the Ford GT stronger on the straight, car going wide, and as they do, well that is a mistake from Jeff Griffiths, and well, Edmondson and Rice both doing well there to take a base of action. That's going to give Rice all the momentum he needs into turn number 2, and this could be the spark that ignites the flame tip for the battle for the second spot of the AMP podium. As Rice makes his way on through in turn 2, 3 and 4, he gets ahead of Edmondson, and Edmondson now, he's going to have the worry of what is a very hungry Ford GT, not just in terms of his thirst for fuel, but also his thirst for places, and they make the way up towards turn number 6, and as they roll the way in towards the next braking zone, you can see Edmondson right now just simply starting offline into the braking zone, making sure to make it clear he's going to defend this, but meanwhile Barker in turn right there and waiting to go on the attack as they roll their way in towards turn number 7 right now. Things may appear closer than they seem in rear view mirrors for Edmondson, but in this camera you're saying they're as close as that in real life as they make their way down in towards turn number 8, and as they roll them through the left hand and up towards turns 9 and 10. From them, we look back up to John Eddowes here, who's got the company of Casper Brotner for P5 in the Pro class, as they come through turning number 1 Nord curve there, seemingly favouring Eddowes, who gets a much smoother transition off the apex, gains a temp as a result of it.
No.
As they head in towards the next braking zone for turn number 2. This may be where we see a bit of a switch in the positions. going on through the right, but from them, we do have a bit of a dramatic turn of events. We've got a car off the road, and that's Chris Constable. Constable, who was running P2 in the Pro-Am class, has fallen by the wayside there through Parabolica Curve, and he's dropped down a P4. That could be a drive to the pits then, given the state of that Audi. If so, that is going to be heartbreak for Destino Motorsports, the driver who was keeping what was Chris Round honest every step of the way in this race. And it's all gone on for Chris Constable, but what exactly happened is the replay. He made his way out of 4 and on towards 5, goes a bit wide onto the grass, a little bit too eager with the throttle pedal and loose with the steering, and Chris Constable to the wall there, and the grid, and it's such an easy mistake to make, particularly in the late stage of the race when tyre life is not a premium anymore, and well, Chris Constable finding his way now down the order, but can he keep it alive with 6.5 minutes plus the final lap of this race to go to finish inside the top 5 of the prime class? We'll have to see here, but that does mean that Chris Round has been released effectively with a 4-second gap to second place driver Simon Oldfield. Well, here is Oldfield, the team Magnussen driver, who just keeping his head down right now and looking to bring on home the runner-up spot in at the prime class. I don't think he's going to quite believe it if he doesn't bring this home right now. As from him, we then have Alan Lever, who is hounding, he is hustling, and he is trying to find a way to get close to Simon Oldfield. The gap between them is 5 seconds, and Lever is closing at a 10 or 2 a lap, but he needs more than that. There's not enough laps left in the day if he wants to make this happen, and the UK Racing Stewart driver may end up having to take the back step of the podium once again, the third step, much like a Daytona. But we'll have to see what the 657 driver's got in store, and again, it's not over until that checkered flag falls, so let's not write anything else. The conundrum yet, ladies and gentlemen, we know about late lap drama here in the UK Racing GT3 League. We've seen it plenty of seasons recently, and as they make their way on around here, all drives right now have bated breath as Daz Sharp is here on the inside. He squeezed the apex by AM leader Neil Smith, and well, I can tell you one thing, Smith, he might be leading the AM class by the best part of 20 seconds, but he's not afraid to get his elbows out versus some of his other class peers. Albeit I have to wonder here for the 304 driver whether it might be wiser just to back off and let this go. We have seen Smith on a number of occasions be in attacking distance of a win, only to lose it for a late error, and as they make the way in towards turn number 6, he's going to have to stay right away from him as Rob Selby and Sharp is battle with him, but there you can see what was it. Sharp is getting a pull around inside the corner, and Rob Selby now looking onto the inside of turn number 7 through the cutback, and as they do, well, it's going to be the fight of the prime versus the pro as Mill, the AM leader, is allowed to hold his position for now. But again, I would imagine here all 3 drivers now don't want to trip over one another. They're all fighting for their respective positions. They'll be for a P5 in the prime class, not what he wanted today, given the fact he was potential cause for a podium, but he'll be taking that P5 with both arms wide open when all is said and done. And Sharp was one wants to make more progress versus Casper Tunstead, but right now holding on to P11 in the pro class. But as they come on for a turn in number 12 from them, we look back to your overall leaders, Armstrong versus Neat. It still rages on here. They've got a long line of traffic in front of them as well. This is not what they want to see. But if you're James Armstrong, with 4 minutes left on the clock, you've got cars that are all fighting for position, and one driver just in front of you immediately who just wants to gain more overall positions in the form of Lee King McGee. And well, King McGee's got to think about what does he do in this situation. Does he let it go, or does he dig in and try and carve his way past the AMs? Well, Armstrong I think is going to make a decision for him soon by getting very close as they make their way through the corners and park. And you can see the 4GT struggling out of the corners. It just hasn't got the speed. King McGee immediately backs off there and lets Armstrong and Nick go. And now Barker's going to think about the same thing. You can understand though from the Amtrak's perspective. He wants to go hunting after that P2, but Armstrong there decides to try and ducks the inside as Barker holds the outside. Meanwhile, coming through comes Neat as well. And then from them, it's going to be King McGee up the inside as he roars his way to the brakes, and Barker out of sorts it. And this may just buy Edmondson the time he needs to stay safe for Barker all the way to the end. But as they make the way up towards turn number 6 from these guys, we do look to on drives further up the road, and in particular Rob Armstrong here has got the company Nicholas Rice. You can see the leaders starting to get closer and closer again, but Armstrong not wanting to fight with Nicholas Rice, letting the Ferrari driver go as the Mercedes driver just buries the throttle in and gets the power down. But you can imagine for Armstrong a P8 in the prime class, it won't be perhaps what he wanted from the machine today, but he'll take him and look forward to what's in store at Suzuka. And as they head in towards the next braking zone, in towards Mercedes corner, we continue to return into that lead battle here as Matt Edmondson steps wide into Mercedes corner. Well, he decides to do it safely, but I wonder whether that's going to cost Edmondson a lot of the time that he was able to gain as a result of the way Barker had to let the leaders go. You see King McGee just behind him now as they make their way in towards Mobile 1 curve, as they roll on through and up towards turn number 12. Where Edmondson, knowing he's got to play his cards right, and on reflection, I think he has played it right in terms of the fact he's not lost too much time, and he's played it safe as well. As they come through left into right, the item being raised there. My guy's side saying Armstrong lapping Armstrong there with respect to James Armstrong, lapping with Rob Armstrong. And I'm not sure if they are related, ladies and gentlemen. I might have to ask them about that over the course of the mid-season break. If you do though, let us know in the Twitch or the YouTube chat.
2 minutes left.
Tries to get onto another lap here. Wenderson right now. Going through the right and down towards turn number 2. Now that confirmation there from my guy's side that Rob Armstrong is James Armstrong's dad. Well, that definitely helped. Thank you on my guy's side. And well, onto the brakes they go, and Edmondson then turns in. Oh, gets fitness contact between the two of them, and Edmondson in the end by turning in and making contact there with King McGee. And with that, Nat is going to release Barker on through to take P2 in the AM class in. It's a late twist in the tail in the battle for the front spot in the AM class. And now Barker just has to hold on. I think he's going to be looking at his mirrors and notice that King McGee's right there again and thinking, surely I've just got to let him go. And as they make their way down towards Fitzgerald, and meanwhile fighting's not over yet further down the field in the prime class either, because here this is Marvin Cruz versus Jeff Griffiths. Griffiths on the inside, Cruz on the outside, and as Cruz's mates go all the way round. Meanwhile, that's Daniel Paynes almost loses the rear of the car. The Porsche and the old Dixie Cars outfit who loses the rear coming out of Fitzgerald. That brings it back together, and I think right now was the Paynes just trying to back off and let Cruz fight against his rival, given the fact the old Dixie Cars drivers don't want to step in each other's toes. And well, therefore for Paynes, he'll only want to get through if he feels though he's being held up drastically. But with Paynes as well, his next target would be leaking at McGee, who's in P14 and already the best part of 10 seconds up the road. And Paynes, his next roll behind is Krista Halsoy, who is in respect 15 seconds behind him. So I think Paynes can afford to just simply back off as they make the way in towards turn number 12. As they come on through the left-hander and up towards what we turn 13 through to 16. Going to the left, right, and double right once again. Our leader's gone to one final lap. We will get what is a 37th lap of racing here at the Hockenheim ring today. Armstrong's already onto that final lap. Lead just behind him, and then Devon Spirit a little bit further back. As the drivers will draw their way on to the final lap, from which they'll take the points they score. Well, Marvin Cruz right now still chasing after Griffiths, but not close enough to get involved. Meanwhile, Peter Cox here, he's having to deal with Chris Constable, and the Destino Motorsports drivers just staying in formation at this point. I would imagine that Constable might want a bit of reconciliation place here, but Cox may have something to say about that. As they come through turns 8, 9 and 10, we do look back to your leaders here. The closest battle on circuit is going to go to the Ryan would seem. But Armstrong right now leading home this potential 1-2, and whether they've decided to hold formation to the very end, that's only something the team principal, the manager and the drivers will know. But as they head in towards the Mercedes arena, it's Armstrong who's going to close up to Nicholas Rice for a gap of half a second. I think he'll feel as though, given the fact that these two have got a comfortable gap to what is Devin Samuro of 7 seconds, they don't have to push if they don't want to. And the question from Race and the Void in the Twitch chat, which is, do any of these cars have rear grip left? We do keep in mind some tactical decisions may have been made for the pit lane to change 1 or 2 tyres, and particularly focus on the rear tyres, because they can change tyres at the same time they put fuel in the car. But I think a lot of drivers will be struggling with some term of grip on the car in the end. And as Armstrong makes his way on through turn number 12, he's got through the difficult corners. There's only 2 to go, and Neat's right behind him. But the thing is here, as they make the way on through turn number 15, I think it's only going one way, and it's going to be back-to-back wins here, because as James Armstrong comes out the final corner, he becomes the first double win of the season, and it's James Armstrong for Arnold's competition who takes P1 over on the elite cars, ahead of Aidan Leach at fine. It's a 1-2 for Arnold's competition, and it's a 1-2-3 for Arnold's competition with their pink outfits. David Samaro completing the elite and overall podium ahead of Heroic Shatatas. Daniel Shilcock in the end will take P5 ahead of Jack Taylor, and then it will be Joshua Farrell comes on through here to take the pro win for TEC Sport Corba. He has been untouchable today as he finishes ahead of Helmut Gonsalves and Eric Rosev, and then Ryan Davis will shortly come through to take home what will be a P2 in the pro class for the TEC Sport Car Marte driver in what has definitely been a hard-fought race, as Mark Collicott takes P3 only a second behind. We now have Chris Round who makes his way on through for Leroy Jenkins, and will goodness me, ladies and gentlemen, he has Leroy Jenkins his way to victory in the prime class. There's no question about it, and a P12 finish overall ahead of Reece Saunders. Simon Oldfield will take second place in the prime class, and a brilliant driver for the Team Badger Steel team, and then Alan Lever completes your prime podium for UK Sim Racing Stewart. The lead Ramadan finishes P4 in the Pro class, just over the Pro podium, ahead of John Eddowes, Council Rotten and Alex Hill. Speaking across the line there for TU Silicon Kimmy, and they have Peter Cox and Chris Constable coming on through, with Chris Constable finishing P21 just behind his teammate. Tom Weston P22 ahead of Alex Millward, and Weston having a great debut today, but the fortune's not going his way, as Alex Millward had all the pace, but just not able to find his way through the field. And Neil Smith, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, he's had 6 attempts at an AM win, and on the 6th try, he finds it at long last. He is your AM winner today, the Privateer in the 304, and no longer does Neil Smith see the heartbreak that confounded him in season 11. And it's